Welcome everybody to the War and Peace Baseball Podcast. I'm here today with Farbod Markazi and Alex Rudy, and our special guest, B. Money Hansen. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Alex. Happy to be here.
Of course you are. Of course you are.
I'd
assume that you all are having a good time, enjoying the 4 days of not having to watch baseball, and then getting back after it for the rest of the season. It's a nice break for the fans out there who are just, it's exhausting having to watch baseball, day in and day out. The All-Star break is just a great opportunity for the fans to get some rest and gear up for the second half of the season.
Just like that Reddit post, why are there so many baseball games in the season?
I have yet to watch the full 9-inning game on television yet this year.
Get out of here.
I have.
That is a disgrace.
Oh my god. Alright. Speaking of 9-inning games that nobody watched the entire thing, the All-Star game was on Tuesday.
True.
And
they had the lowest ratings of ever.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
I
they had.
watch it.
I watched it.
Yeah.
I didn't watch. Actually, no, I lied. I watched the whole thing, but I was
I didn't watch it at all.
multitasking. But I didn't have my full attention directed towards that. Did you watch the game, Ben?
Ben and I were at baseball, and then
Practice got out around 7, so I caught the last half of the game.
All right.
I went out for dinner, so I couldn't.
So for all of you uninformed baseball fans out there, the AL won. The Kansas City Fight Club won the All-Star game.
Oh yeah,
Eric
Ben,
Hosmer
they're
was
not the Royals; they're the Fight Club.
I said the Fight Club. Were you listening?
I'm telling Ben that.
Oh no, he knows. He just automatically has to know every inside joke and everything that we say. Like,
Yeah, come on, Farbod.
Yeah,
Come on, Ben.
we're assuming all knowledge. So Eric Hosmer, the All-Star Game MVP. A few other notes, of course. David Ortiz left the game to a standing ovation as all the teammates exited the dugout and went out on the field to congratulate him. Things like that. It was a nice time. Jose Fernandez walked him, so he did not groove 3 fastballs down the middle like he said he was going to, by the way. In case you were wondering that.
Remember when Wainwright said he'd do that and he got shit for it?
No, he didn't say. He said after the fact, like, I was going to be aggressive with fastballs, and, I didn't think he did a double. But, stuff like that happens. Whatever. It's not a big deal. A few other notes. Chris Bryant hit a home run off Chris Sale in the first, so he's wasting no time getting All-Star game numbers racked up. Salvador Perez hit a home run, the other Fight Club member. Daniel Murphy reached base 3 times. Surprise, surprise. What else? There was a lot of other.
Let's not forget about Mike Trout's single up the middle.
Yeah, he extended his All-Star game hit streak. I guess that's noteworthy.
He also lost his MVP streak.
Yeah,
that's true, but I think he's got enough Chevys in his garage. So, and one of the other big notes from the game is that they announced the names of the new batting title awards for the American and National League. So the highest,
cool.
Yeah, the player with the highest batting average in the American League is going to be getting the Rod Crew Batting Champion Award, and in the National League, it's the Tony Gwynn Batting Champion Award. So that's something new. I think that's a nice addition. It's kind of weird that was one of the few awards that doesn't have, player names. So I find that quite fitting. So any other notes from the All-Star game that you guys feel the need to bring up?
I think San Diego did a great job.
The thing on Sunday was wonderful.
Yeah,
notoriously lame, baseball city, I guess. It doesn't have very reputation.
Casual, not lame.
Okay, yeah, not hyped. At least from my experience, people were very excited and happy and joyous and loving baseball.
Yeah, the festivities were great all around. We, as they mentioned, we went on the Sunday with the Futures game and the Celebrity All-Star game, the Legends and Celebrity game. That was a ton of fun. We didn't go to the Home Run Derby, but that looked like a lot of fun as well. Giancarlo Stanton. I almost called him Mike Stanton. Jesus.
That is also his name.
What?
No.
What just happened?
That used to be his name.
It used to be his name, but that was quite a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. Stan hit like 61 home runs throughout the whole competition and shattered the record. So, that's continuing to get better. Next year we'll have a pitcher home run derby, hopefully. So that'll be something to look forward to. Do you think that's actually going to happen?
Not a pitcher home run derby. I think
there's been talk of it.
Going to be in a home run derby.
Really?
I maybe if it's any guy, it's going to be Bumgarner.
I think the main concern for all the managers and stuff is that I don't want my pitchers just like wearing themselves out at this event.
Yeah.
But if they had a pitcher home run derby, that would be like, one round and then you see who hits the most home runs there. Like that would be something a little more tailored to like what managers would be okay with,
It could be like a small version just to have fun. Like the celebrity game after the Futures game. It's like a small version, and it's just to have fun with the.
You don't shrink the field though.
No, obviously.
Oh yeah, it's all for fun.
It's like a smaller, shorter version.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that's just speculation. So, yeah. So again, All-Star festivities were great. It was a great venue, of course. Next year it's going to be in Miami. That's going to be interesting. They have a really nice facility there, at least a nice new stadium.
I'm excited for that.
Well, yeah, I don't think we'll be there, but yeah.
Wait, no, but
yeah, that'll be a long road trip.
Giancarlo in his home ballpark.
That's true.
Can we just chalk it up as a home run derby win for him?
I guess we have to right now. We'll just pencil him in for
Todd Frazier in his park, Giancarlo in his.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, so speaking of the Padres, we'll move on from the All-Star game now and get into what is going to be the talk of all of baseball leading up to August, basically, is trade deadline events and proposals and speculation and all kinds of stuff. It has already begun with the Red Sox trading for Drew Pomeranz of the San Diego Padres, the All-Star Drew Pomeranz. They trade away Anderson Espinoza, who's a top 40 prospect overall, top 10 right-handed pitching prospect. Really high ceiling.
Yeah.
Thanks for throwing that in there. But what do you think about Pomeranz? He's the more
When I first saw the trade, obviously he's gotten better since his previous, since a couple years ago. I was interested in how he would do, like I told you guys, how he would do in a non-pitcher's park, but then you brought up the AL East hitters too. And I'm interested to see how he'd do in a non-pitcher's park against the AL East hitters, because I don't think he'll be the two, whatever his ERA is. Do you know? Your leading side game.
I don't know it off the top of my head, but it's a formidable ERA.
It's very low. But it's for a guy that kind of came out of nowhere. I don't know. It's very low, and I'm interested to see how the rest of the season plays out for him.
Yeah, and obviously a bigger spotlight too. Yeah, Rudy, go for it. Just wanted to throw that in there.
Say, if you expect him to be the pitcher he's been so far this season, I would say it's a bit unreasonable considering.
I don't expect him to be the pitcher he's this.
No, I wasn't implying you were. I was just saying in general. Considering I don't think he's really ever had the ace level of stuff, but honestly, I think he's the perfect guy for the Red Sox. The Red Sox need a dependable inning pitcher who will not lose them the game and will keep their offense in it. I think he was maybe the best guy in the market for that specific.
He gives them a chance to win every night out.
Yeah, and they didn't have to give up a ton. I mean, Anderson Espinoza seems to be a very highly touted guy. But honestly, the Red Sox, I'd say the past 10 or so years have had the best, something like a top 5 farm system. They have no problem developing guys. They have plenty of young guys. They have a great team right now. They're going to win now. They're going to win now. And I think it's a great trade for both teams. I think it was smart for the Padres to cash him in to when he was hot.
It's the perfect time to do it because who knows how the rest of the season would have gone for him.
Yeah, and he is under team control for the next season, so that is another big reason why he was one of the more sought-after pitchers on the market. Another pitcher who I'm a little shocked that the Red Sox did not go after too is Rich Hill on the A's.
That's what I asked you guys 15 minutes ago. When is he going to get traded? I thought one of the two guys that could have been traded to the Red Sox is a Pomerantz who was traded, or a Rich Hill. Do you think there's any chance the Red Sox get Rich Hill as well?
No, I don't think they
need him.
I don't think it's worth whatever resources they're gonna have to give up.
They have him. They have Pomeranz now. Price, Wright, Porcello, and who's the fifth starter? No,
their fifth starter.
Some shit guy probably.
Well, no, not really, not necessarily. I'm thinking right now. I'll look it up for you though.
Clay Buchholz.
Clay Buchholz in the bullpen, so he's not starting anymore.
So it's Eduardo Rodriguez. So
oh yeah, so that
I think they're fine.
Eduardo Rodriguez could
he's fine.
Could use a replacement.
I think he's fine to be your fifth starter. I don't think they need to. I don't think they need to waste another prospect on Rich Hill and or. I mean, Rick Porcello and Stephen Wright could collapse any second, to be honest, considering their past. So I guess Hill wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. But I mean,
no, I agree with you guys. I was just trying to get your take on.
Maybe Swihart for Hill. I think that might be worth it.
That probably would be worth it, especially for A's.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Swihart really has a future on the Red Sox, to be honest. So.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame. Very highly touted hitting prospect that just hasn't put anything together. The Red Sox have a lot of options, and they're obviously one of the more aggressive teams in terms of trades. We saw it in the offseason with Craig Kimbrell. So yeah, I don't think they're done. Is that fair to say? I think whether it's a bullpen arm or it's a another outfielder.
Chizawa just went to the deal. Bullpen could use some help. Yeah,
they seriously are. I think they're going to be very aggressive because they're a big market team. They have high expectations. David Ortiz last year. They have about as much on the line as any team. They need bullpen help, and they could use another outfielder, Jackie Bradley and Mookie Betts. In the left field right now situation is the left field situation is a little bit rough right now because Brock Holt's been battling injuries. He was out with a concussion and then has had some ankle problem. They have what?
The Cuban guy.
He's gone. Rusney Castillo has been. Rusney Castillo was. Was he DFA'd or was he?
I'll look that up.
Really?
He was removed from the roster in some form. I don't remember how.
They have Aaron Hill now, so they could probably have Travis Shaw.
They do have Aaron Hill. That is also news.
Or Hanley plays some left field. So
I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't see that happening because Hanley was god awful in left field, and he showed he was on outright first base.
He was put on outright waivers.
I'm sure Travis Shaw could play decent left field in Fenway.
I would like to see their one of their top prospects, Benintendi, get a shot at some point. Especially
they had Swihart playing left field at one point, so clearly they don't really worry too much about the defense in that area when they need unless
it's Hanley, who's just that was a weird.
Clearly, Hanley was a different level of horrendous.
Mm-hmm. Castillo was put on waivers.
That's sad.
It's
after he signed a 7-year, $72.5 million, and he was put on waivers.
And do you have anything to add on the Red Sox?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that.
Going back to Pomeranz, I think it just shows they're going off it's David Ortiz last year. So I think they're just going for it. They want to make this year memorable, him being honored at the All-Star game. But it's a 3-way race in the AL East, and I think this trade just shows like you said, Alex, he's racked up career highs in innings pitched, great ERA, in the low twos. So I think he's going to make a big impact. They had to give up guys for this, but I think going forward, I predict Pomeranz will be a great boost to their squad.
Yeah, sounds good. Of course, Ben,
Ben.
At any point in the discussion, if you feel the need to get your word in there, you just cut either of these other guys off, any of us off, really.
Ben,
what we have to say
really
is not
hard
really as
to
important as
talk
what
in
you have
front
to
of these
say.
guys.
So
I'm
please,
gonna cut Farbode off the most.
that's perfect. He's learned.
What
He's
do you have
learning
against
quickly.
me?
He is
I bet,
learning
Ben.
on the job. All right, let's go ahead and move on to some more trade talks and buyers and sellers in the free and not in the free agent market, the trade market right now. Let's talk some Yankees. Rudy, are you ready for this?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you guys this. I read this. I shared this with both of you too. Right now, I read this report that the Yankees front office are split on whether they are contenders or rebuilders. I want your take on it as Yankee fans.
They are 100% pretenders. It's time to rebuild. They have a small but decent young core of young guys consisting of Gary Sanchez, Greg Bird, Aaron Judge, Mateo, Luis Severino, Dylan Betances, Rob Resiner. And maybe even Castro, depending on your definition of young. He's still only like 26. That is a decent starting point. They're nowhere near the Orioles, Red Sox, or even the Blue Jays level this year. This current team is going nowhere. It's a holdover of their 2009 World Series team, pretty much, with the addition of a couple guys here and there. I would be willing to trade anyone but maybe McCann and Miller, without a doubt, who's not like a young guy under team control.
Betances?
Yeah. What part of young guy under team control is hard to interpret?
My bad. I'll take the L.
Oh, all right. Yeah, it doesn't get any more 50-50 than a 500 team, you know? It's a tough thing to say the Yankees need to sell, but I don't know if that means they need to rebuild. Like, they don't need to go full rebuild, because they can't. They can't do that. They can't do that to their, just in the market that they're in the fan base that they have. They can't clean house and start over completely.
I don't think they would get any worse if they traded Teixeira, let's say Teixeira, Ellsbury. They don't have. It's not like the guys they can trade are that good. I mean, Gardner, Ellsbury, like those guys, like they're not producing at such high levels that their team's going to be suddenly, like a bottom 3 team in the league all of a sudden just because they're gone. I mean, to be completely honest, except for Chapman, I don't even know who they can trade who really has any value worth, selling.
So let's talk about those. There are 2 players on the Yankees that have trade value that exceeds the rest, and that would be Chapman and Carlos Beltran, who you haven't mentioned yet at all.
That's a good one.
He is going to be on a new team. He has to be. He's in the final year of his deal. The Yankees would be foolish to think that he's going to help them more than any return that they're going to get, especially with how well Beltran's been playing this year. He looks healthy. You know, it's not ideal for the Yankees to, give up their best offensive player, but in this case, I think that is one of the few cases where the trade value is just too high to pass up the opportunity. Beltran's going to help. He has the potential to help a lot of teams out there that need outfield help. Aroldis Chapman, obviously, any team will throw him in the 9th inning, no matter what. He's a closer wherever he goes. There are a lot of teams that really want to make their bullpen more dynamic. They've seen how it works in the postseason. That is probably the biggest piece they have because of that mindset that the bullpen is where we need to stock up for the final stretch and for the postseason. I don't agree with that philosophy, but if the Yankees have that arm and other teams are willing to sell, throw in the kitchen sink and do whatever it takes to get a bullpen guy, yeah, sell him.
If the Fight Club has had any impact on the game of baseball, it's been that. It's been the importance of the 3-headed monster or good, reliable arms to basically make the game shorter, make it a 6-7 inning game.
Yeah, and it's not even just the Kansas City Fight Club. It's been the the 3-time World Series champs in the last 5 years. The San Francisco Giants have done that, and they have created that culture. They really did a lot of these years not have the best starting pitching of the teams in the postseason by any means. They throw out their starting pitchers that will give their all for 5 innings, and then the bullpen will take care of the rest.
Unless his name is Madison Bumgarner.
That's true, and I do think there is something to be said for having that horse that can give your bullpen some rest, especially in the postseason. It's something that
Rudy's back.
Rudy is back. All right, that's good. It's something that a lot of teams really don't have, and a lot of contenders really do need that horse in their starting rotation. You need to have a game 1 starter. I think that's a very important thing. We've moved on to talking about the importance of bullpens in the playoffs and having that one guy at the head of your rotation that can really take a load off of a bullpen and really carry your team in a postseason.
Is this just a general trade deadline topic?
Yeah, we're talking about kind of how the culture not the culture, but the mindset that's been created by GMs is that you can really go deep into a postseason if you have a dominating bullpen, but you also have one guy that you can throw up against another team's ace and expect to win that game. Because not every team has that. There are a lot of contending teams that don't have the guy. So, and there's no guy out there on the trade market this year. There's no David Price out there this year. Right? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know what the teams... Obviously, there's 2 major key elements to the postseason push, and if there's no, front of the line monster out there in starting pitching, everybody's going to want those bullpen arms. Let's talk a little bit more specifically. What team specifically do you think guys like Chapman and Beltran would be a good fit for?
Ooh.
Honestly, at this point, I think Beltran might fit well with the Giants. They're contenders year in and year out. And I think he deserves to be on one of those high contending teams. I'm not saying the Yankees are not contenders this year. They're definitely contenders.
No,
I mean, not as much as the Giants, obviously. So,
Farbode is very dismissive of your claim, but
dude, I'm just admiring Farbode's Skype profile picture of freshman year baseball here. Great form.
Wow, savage.
Why are we beefing right now?
Yeah,
we're talking about Chapman and
you guys
Beltran.
need to be best friends, okay?
Yeah, he's my second baseman.
Hello.
We're talking about trade destinations for Beltran and Chapman. Any input?
Wait, what? Did we go back in time?
No, we're just talking more specifically. We kind of took a tangent talking about how bullpen arms.
Can I repeat my question then?
Nobody heard that.
No, it's the beef sesh right now. That's what we're on.
What?
We're all beefing.
Did anyone answer my question?
What was your question? Nobody heard it.
Okay. Who's the last team that won the World Series without having a /workhorse quality starting pitcher?
That is a good one.
And that's my exact point. So you said there's a bunch of contenders that don't have that pitcher, and I would argue you're inherently not a true World Series contender.
Oh, no, I'm just talking about teams that are going to be in the playoffs for sure that don't have that guy. The Baltimore Orioles are the perfect example. The Toronto Blue Jays are another good example. These are 2 legit teams that don't have that guy.
That's why they won't win the World Series this year.
Yeah, I guess so. Do we want to go back and try to discuss
Beltran to the Indians seems like a perfect match.
Yeah.
I did like, Ben, your the Giants prediction. That was another interesting one.
What was that?
The Carlos Beltran being a fit for the Giants. A return to the Giants.
They already traded for him once. I don't know if...
What, there's a rule that you can't trade for the guy another time?
You don't see that very often.
I guess there's just not a lot of guys that are put in that situation. I guess, I don't know.
Rudy, I was considering that point, why would you trade again for him? But, why not? That's the question.
Why did they him? They have Span, Pence, and Angel Pagan.
Well, there's a lot of question marks
Or
with Pence.
I mean, who
you know?
says he can't DH? I mean, the guy's getting old.
DH in the National
He
League.
probably would like it if he did.
In the World Series, if you're thinking that far ahead.
So you're gonna trade for a guy to play to DH in potentially 4 games at the very most?
No, he would definitely have a corner outfield spot.
He would start.
Okay, so who are you starting him for?
Well, Pence isn't playing currently, so
Pence isn't
you
playing
have
right
him
now.
at least in this.
So you're gonna bench Pence. You're gonna bench Pence.
No,
Pence
if anything, I think you bench you give Span and Pagan, make them
you
share
would
time.
bench Stan after you just signed him to a.
You make them share time.
Season.
No, it's more platooning than necessarily benching.
If I was Stan, I would say that's unacceptable. I didn't sign you to be a platoon mate.
Well, that's true, but there is a lot of health concern with both those players, and I think keeping them fresh would not be the worst thing in the world.
If moving on from I just got this idea. Moving on from Beltran, what about I see you mentioned the Indians and Beltran. I think they could use either a Miller or Chapman as well, because
I don't think Miller's going to get traded. The rumors seem to be that the Yankees are a bit attached to Miller.
But
I don't blame them. I don't know if anyone would really give fair compensation for what he provides, even for a 500 T.
No, but the thing I'm saying is, like, the Indians' relief pitching has been pretty solid, above average, but I think, obviously Chapman is an upgrade, not necessarily on Cody Allen, but, like, makes the whole bullpen better. And Andrew Miller, if it's Andrew Miller, he can definitely help that team.
Yeah, I don't.
Do you think the Indians would really be willing to trade for both Beltran and one of Chapman and Miller? I mean, they're not a team really known for making blockbuster trades at all. I think the last one they made was for Ubaldo Jimenez. Ironically, they gave up Drew Pomeranz in that deal. So
I thought the last one was Brandon Moss. That wasn't a blockbuster either.
Is that really a blockbuster, though?
No. But
that's kind of what I meant.
I bet.
Okay, that's fair. Jimenez kind of was.
It wasn't a mid-season trade either. That was in the off-season.
Oh, it was. You're right. Okay.
So, I think Chapman could really go to any team. I think it's really hard to predict a guy. I would be shocked if he was still
I said this
come August, but go ahead. But I don't think. I think it's hard to predict him because there's really no contending team that can't use another great bullpen pitcher.
I said this earlier, like months ago when we were talking about this. I think if you're the Cubs, who are looking to possibly like improve their bullpen a lot, I'd take a look at either a Miller or a Chapman.
Well, yeah, you keep saying a Miller or Chapman. These are the guys. Like these are the players in question. There's not a lot of.
The thing is, I'm not saying both of them because I'm not saying both of them in one trade.
There's not a lot of high-caliber bullpen arms outside of that on non-contending teams when you think about it. Like, the Reds, like, I guess Raisel Iglesias could help in the back of somebody's bullpen. They don't have any bullpen help for anybody. The Padres don't really have bullpen help. They already traded Rodney. That was it.
The Red Sox just traded for Ziegler.
Another guy that's like, he's okay. Like he's a pretty good closer, not a strikeout guy. But yeah, like stuff like that. There's not a huge pool of bullpen arms to choose from. That's why, especially Chapman's value is higher than it's ever been. I would say. So
I would say assault last year.
Pre-assault or post-assault.
I would say his value before that. I would just agree with you. That's higher now than it was then.
Really? Even so, last year.
He only has 3 months left on his contract. I mean, that limits his value quite a bit. You can't deny that.
I mean, contending teams, they will do whatever it takes to make that final push. And Chapman's the best arm out there.
His value is still not this is just semantics, anyways. But I would still not say it's the greatest it's ever been. But
All right, that's fine.
It doesn't matter who.
It's comparable to last year. I'm just saying because the market is so much thinner.
Yeah, this is probably one of the worst trade deadline markets in quite a long time. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree.
I mean, we were kind of spoiled with last year and 2014.
Yeah, those are probably unreasonably high expectations to have.
Yeah.
All right, let's quickly blow through a few other contending teams' shopping
this
lists.
one's not gonna. Actually, no. Never mind. Go ahead.
Excuse me.
That was not English.
I was gonna bring something up, but never mind.
All right,
you can go. I mean, this is
it's okay.
not like
a
court meeting.
No, it's all right.
I'll allow it. Yeah.
No, you're not allowed for our boat.
Okay. Ben
Ben's trying
said
to
it. I'm not allowed.
All right.
I'm really confused.
Okay,
right
move on.
All right, yeah, let's quickly go through some other contenders' shopping lists and their needs and things like that. The Texas Rangers, what are they getting in this trade deadline?
I think Captain Lee is a starting pitcher. To be honest, this team is the luckiest team in baseball. Sorry, the luckiest team in baseball.
Wow.
Their offense is very not good. They have one above average hitter, to be completely honest.
Wait, can you do that again?
That was amazing.
Please. Por favor.
I mean, the return of Colby Lewis somehow pitching out of his fucking mind, and Yu Darvish maybe being healthy for a month, for the first time in 2 years, is really not going to make. I don't really think is the key, and I think they really, really could use just talent. I mean, I think this team is really. I mean, it looks good on paper. I think when you really delve into the stats, this team is overperforming. It should not have the best record or the best winning percentage in the American League. And I mean, bullpen, starting rotation, offense, you name it. I don't think there's anywhere they shouldn't be looking at, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like their offense. Don't like their pitching overall. They could use a starter. They could use a bullpen piece.
Their offense really isn't that good, though. I mean,
I think it's pretty good.
They have one guy like a high. I'll find the stat. They have like one player with a above average OPS plus or something like that.
Yeah, that's Ian Desmond. It's got to be.
Sorry.
And that's Ian Desmond. I'm willing to bet.
Yeah. I've got the specific stat, but Ian Desmond basically their only like truly above average hitter this year.
Who would have thought that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Chu and Fielder, you would think would heat up to their.
Chu's had a very good season so far. I will actually say.
A while he started off really.
He's been injured too, though.
Yeah.
Ever since he came back, he's been really good. I have no concerns for them offensively. They have minor league options if they absolutely need them to, but their pitching is not great. They have a decent, few pitchers that can get them some innings. Cole Hamels is their guy, which is a good thing to have right now. Something they haven't had in past years, actually, when you think about it, before Darvish. So, I think that's I think pitching. It's just pitching for them. The Houston Astros also are, trying to contend. They're trying to make something work, but their needs are unclear because their starting pitching is just underperforming.
They need time, and more time than they have, to be honest.
Yeah, I would.
I think they should. I think we can just stand pat, and if it has it in it to make it to the playoffs, they'll do it. If they don't, they'll just reevaluate in the offseason. But they made two pretty short-sighted trades last year / offseason. Trading away Velasquez and trading for Carlos Gomez, and neither of those really works out. I think there's really no sense in them trading away more assets to chase a title that they're pretty unlikely to win.
They traded away Josh Hader last year, who was nasty in the Futures game, for Carlos Gomez. Yeah. Jonathan VR, they traded away, having a great season. They weren't supposed to be the World Series champs until next year, remember, according to Sports Illustrated.
That's
so
true.
that can still happen. Their prediction might be good, but yeah, they have really good. They have the best core since the Yankees. Like that's the truth. Like that is.
What'd you say?
They have the best core in baseball since the Yankees core.
You think their core?
Well, the Red Sox core is also very good right now, but you know,
Cubs core or the Giants core. Or,
Giants core it's good, but I would take Altuve, Correa.
You should look at
Springer.
Correa's numbers. They're pretty disappointing this year.
I'm telling you that the Belt, Crawford, Posey core, like those guys, that is a great core. But I'm not saying. I'm gonna say right now, I'm taking Altuve, Springer, Correa, and.
They'll say we have 2 World Series rings and the Astros have 0. So.
Give it time. They need time. You said it. They need time.
I can't believe you rate them over the Cubs. I mean, the Cubs, I think, are on a different level.
The Cubs core is really good, too. I mean, this year is like the rise of all these great cores. Like,
okay, Rudy, we can't really blame him. His, third bay is their second base.
My third bay.
Altuve is his, wife.
Yeah.
Don't judge.
Altuve.
Don't hate.
And then Bregman.
Seegers is his mistress, and
Bregman's his side bay.
Side bay, yeah.
Oh my God, where does Josh Hader fit into all this?
Josh Hader.
He's my pitcher bay.
No.
What do you mean no?
Yeah, friends with benefits.
Friends with benefits. He's the long-haired stud. All right, this is getting weird. Ben, do something to break up.
As much as I'd love to stay on your show right now, I'm playing a high-profile golf tournament tomorrow, so I'm gonna have to sign off.
Oh no! Please no! Come on, let's get on then to our mid-season awards, because that is important. We need your mid-season awards. We need the best awards from you. Can we depend on you for that?
Oh.
Does he not have awards?
Bro, I don't have any awards to give out.
Oh my God!
4:30 a.m. I gotta go, bro.
Biggest letdown of the night, right there. All right, thank you for joining us, though, Ben. Hopefully, we'll have you on again. Hopefully, you can stay a little bit longer than.
Thanks for having me.
Than you have.
Good night, America.
America.
I know you're all watching.
All America is watching.
Yes.
All of them.
All of them. Okay. See ya, Ben.
All right.
We will continue on, though, because we are...
Hey, can I just say something?
Yeah.
On MLB.com, for Rougned Odor, it says, under relationships, brother of Rougned Odor.
Yeah, no, I think he actually has... it was 2 other brothers named Rougned Odor.
I'm so sorry.
Brothers named the same name?
Yeah. It's weird. We'll talk about that later, but I think we've had enough...
no originality.
We've had enough... weird tangents in one pod for many podcasts, I would say at this point. I am ready to talk some mid-season awards. Are you guys ready for mid-season awards, or did you guys just completely ignore that and want to leave now too?
I'm ready
for a golf tournament.
I want to leave. I have mid-season awards, so I guess I can.
That's what I like to hear. Let's start with some of the more lower caliber awards, I guess. Comeback Player of the Year for both leagues.
I think
American League, I'd give it to Ian Desmond.
Ooh, shit.
That's about it. This is the best part of the show. You just bring up names that you completely forgot. I also gave it to Ian Desmond. Unbelievably.
I'm giving it to Robinson Cano, but...
I don't think you can... Robinson Cano's year was not fantastic last year, but the second half of the season was perfectly Robinson Cano.
I forgot Robinson Cano existed last year, so I think that's why I gave it to him. That was my credential.
You forgot what?
I bet.
He existed? Oh, okay.
But I also forgot Ian Desmond was awful.
You forgot him so much that you didn't even put him in contention.
I mean, to be fair, Robinson Cano has as many home runs now as he had all of last season.
Yes, but the second half of last season was on par with what he's done his whole career. He was really good second half of last year. He already
has 1.2 WAR more than all of last season.
Yeah, because he had a really rough first half of last season. But I think going into the season... We at least
agree that he's number 2?
No. Mark Trumbo's number 2 for me.
Who?
You can't
Mark Trumbo's number 2 for
me. If you were never good.
He was. He was good with the Angels.
That was 4 years ago.
And he's come back. And
What?
It's called the Comeback Player of the Year.
That logic, Carlos Beltran should be comeback.
He should be. He can be Comeback Player of the Year.
Wait, since he was on the Mets. I mean,
Yes, see, they give it to him. He's back, and he's good. Why is my criteria worse than you? You gave it to, like, a perennial all-star also, who was really good last year. I don't understand.
Okay, how about, I'm giving it to Will Myers.
That is a great one.
Yeah.
I did not give it to Will Myers, though. I gave it to Jake Lamb, the not all-star.
It's not a comeback.
It is. I will read you what he did last year.
But he was never good. He went from good to great. You can't be a comeback. It's not most improved player. It's comeback player of the year.
He was good a couple years ago. Here,
It's not a comeback.
let's get into the numbers a little bit.
Bad. Comeback means you were good, then bad, then good. Not
Okay,
good to
actually
good.
that's fair. He was not very good when I thought he was good.
He's the most improved player in the NL. I will give you that 100%.
What was Will Myers' best season before this year, though?
The Rookie of the Year.
You got me.
That's a pretty good one. That must be a pretty good year then. What year was that?
Rookie of the Year.
Carbone
2000.
saves today.
2013?
Yeah, I think that's the year he won.
Yeah,
the
he hit
Rookie of the Year.
293 with an 831 OPS. I'll give you win. You win that one,
No,
Rudy.
you're right. You're right. Will Myers is a bad choice too. Because
By your standards, I think it's fine. He was Rookie of the Year.
Myers deserve it.
He came back.
I'm not being a hypocrite. I will admit, under what I'm complaining, I'm doing what I'm complaining at you doing. So I will admit that.
This is a mess. God.
I think it's fun.
I think it's a fun mess, but it's a mess.
Jay Bruce maybe then instead. How about that?
Farbode.
I had Jay Bruce.
Oh, you did. Wow, that was uncanny. Yeah, that's a pretty good one too. I don't know. Can we give it to Bartolo? No, he's good at. He's just amazing every year.
Maybe the All-Star team. I mean,
he is an all-star, like forever.
Let me ask you guys this: why doesn't Jackie Bradley Jr. deserve consideration for it in the AL?
Because he was good last year. I don't know.
He wasn't good the whole year.
But he was good last year. It happened last year. I don't know. He broke out last year. There's so many weird criteria going on right now. I don't know where to go.
This award was a mistake. I apologize.
But I'm going to argue for Mark Trumbo. That is a comeback player. That is. Because he looked.
I kind of irrationally hate him. So, but
you're right. Okay. That's not fair, I guess. But
I love Mark Trumbo.
We'll stick with it. All right, let's move on to our next award then, because that went perfectly. Manager of the Year for both leagues.
For my American League, I think we probably have the same ones. A couple of us at least. I have Terry Francona.
I have Francona.
I have Francona.
Clean sweep.
Okay. Who's your National League Manager of the Year?
I have Bruce Bochy.
I have Bruce Bochy as well.
Dave Roberts.
Oh, so you went against the grain, picked a different NL West manager. You want to explain why?
Yes, this is an even year, so the Giants are favored to win the World Series.
So you can't give it to their manager just because he has a boost?
Yes, because there is a 50% chance a banana could manage that team to the World Series if we do believe in voodoo. So,
did you say hoodoo?
Voodoo.
It sounded like hoodoo.
If you believe in the Giants voodoo that they win every even year.
I mean, it's like science. It's not voodoo. It's science at this point.
Then you can make the case.
It's statistics.
That Bochy has nothing to do with it. Though I would not agree with that. However,
you told me personally that Bruce Bochy is one of the greatest managers of all time.
In complete honesty, I just think that Dave Roberts had an incredibly difficult job this year. To be serious, it's in a really, really high-pressure market. Dodger fan expectations are high every year, especially with Kershaw being the best player in baseball at this time. And they have a really high payroll. There's always talent on the roster, even if it doesn't perform to expectations. Don Mattingly went out not on good terms, I think, with either the team or the fan base. I think Dave Roberts did not have easy. That's not an easy place to go. I think it's his first managerial job too in the MLB.
It is.
I'm giving credit for that.
That's a very difficult first, way to go, in my opinion. First opportunity, and they've had a ton of injuries. This is their worst team in a while, and probably the past 4 years, I would say. Yeah, there's still a good chance of making the wild card game. I mean, I think
they're 11 games over 500.
In all honesty, and to be serious, Bochy is the best manager I think in baseball. Said before.
I think it is by a slight margin, but Roberts isn't my second place guy. Even Joe Madden is, notoriously one of the best managers in baseball. But it's a similar situation.
The managerial award is about transcending your teams. It's like in my opinion, I contribute to guys whose teams are overperforming expectations, and the Cubs are playing as well as they should be. Madden is an incredible manager with the job he's doing. You're right, he's on Bochy's level, but yes, but the job he has is not the same type of job he has to do when he manages the Rays to the World Series. That's the manager of the year. He's not going to make the difference with the Cubs that Dave Roberts has to make with the Dodgers every night in, night out to win the game.
I think that's an unfair it's an unfair criteria because in my mind, any team that has a winning percentage better than 600 is performing above expectations. They get right down to business. They do the job. The Cubs are 53-35.
They should be 53-35.
But how based on what? Just their team is really good.
They have an unbelievably stacked roster.
They do, and they have a really good manager at the helm.
You don't get why does that make them deserve manager of the year? Just because, I don't understand the logic. Just because your team wins a ton of games, that automatically means that you were the best.
He's doing a good job managing them too, though. It's not just it's not like Ned Yost or
that he's
Dusty Baker.
Okay, Dusty Baker's doing a great job this year.
Well, no, he's more the prime example of, throw the same guys out there every day and let them win. That is more of that example. Joe Madden is a very active manager. He works very hard to make this team even better than it should be. And it is fantastic.
To me, manager of the year is about the guy who took the team.
It's like an underdog award then.
It's when there's an intrinsic reason that a team is overperforming, and you award the manager for that. Maybe that's wrong, and that's not always the case. But when teams overperform in sports, traditionally, that team's manager or coach is given an award for it because it's the only rational explanation. And the fact of the matter is that the Dodgers are way more overperforming their wins than the Cubs. And for that reason, Dave Roberts deserves it more than Joe Madden. Joe Madden's a better manager. I would rather have a manager managing my team. But in this specific season, in this specific situation, Dave Roberts is, in my opinion, more deserving of an award for success. Joe Madden is it's like a Formula One driver, the best one in the world, driving the best car in the world to winning the race. But that's what he's supposed to do. Dave Roberts is like me hopping into a NASCAR and coming in third in the Daytona 500. That's not what's supposed to be happening.
I believe in you. I believed you could do it all along.
I butchered that metaphor.
I agree with Rudy in that I think the manager should be one that takes his team, who's not expected to be doing this, to a different level. But I still don't think. I mean, the Giants have a great roster. I agree. Joe Madden obviously is a stacked roster. We know that too. But I think if you're talking about the best managers in the game, I don't think there's a doubt. It's Bochy and Madden, however you want to rank that, is 1-2, 1-2. But right now, Rudy, you've actually got me thinking. I don't know, because
He's gonna give it to Sosha now. God damn it.
no,
I mean,
God,
Madden's
no.
already won the award 3 times, including last year. Do you really think he deserves back-to-back?
No,
managers?
there's absolutely no, for any award this year. Throw
There's
everything
no
in the past
reasoning to say,
away.
yeah.
It's an award for this year. You can't say, oh well, this guy already won it, so we'll give it to this other guy. That's not how it should ever work. If he earns it this year, he gets the award. And there's different interpretations, obviously, of what is deserving of what it means to be deserving of this award. I don't agree still, but I will respect that what you're saying is just a different interpretation of how the award should be handled.
The only way, in my mind, that Madden deserves the award this year is if they win the World Series. Then I will say,
But the voting is done
The
before
voting
the
is
playoffs.
done before the
Voting is
postseason.
done before the
But that
playoffs.
doesn't matter. We're doing our own awards.
It's the mid-season awards.
But you know what I'm trying to say. If you break the curse of the Billy Goat, give him all the awards. That's
the Billy
the
Goat.
most. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Really?
The
That's what
Reds.
it's called.
The Cubs curse is called the curse of the Billy Goat.
Oh, gotcha.
So, if he pulls that off, which there's a genuine chance he does, fine. But I just don't see. I don't think he's the reason that they have the best record in baseball.
Well,
right
you
now.
wouldn't know. They don't have a trashy
He's
manager.
angry.
You can't see this team with a trashy manager. There's all you know is that their team is really good and they have a really good manager. I don't know.
I think he was. See, this is the last thing, and then I'll shut up on this because Last year he deserved it because he took a team that was horrible for 4 years, basically, from terrible to top team in baseball. It's very successful playoffs. This year, that's a gigantic leap. That deserves award. The leap this year can be attributed, in my opinion, much more to signing Zobrist and Lackey and Hayward and Bryant becoming an MVP level player and just genuine personnel improvement and completion of the roster.
All right, I think we could talk all day on this, but I think we need to move on because we have a lot of other. These are the minor awards, by the way. Let's get into the slightly more higher tier awards. If that's all right with you guys. Let's get into the Hank Aaron Awards, the most achieved offensive players in both leagues.
For my Hank Aaron Award for the American League, I give it to David Ortiz.
I also give it to David Ortiz.
David Ortiz.
It's got to be him. He's unbelievable this year.
Yeah.
OPS over 1100 and shattering all his previous. He's
You
on
can't
pace
not-
to shatter his
The
records.
most amazing. I'm sorry, but the most amazing stat that he has is 2 stolen bases. That's incredible.
Is that a career high?
I don't know, but
I'll look.
I doubt it.
he has as many stolen bases as like Nolan Arenado, which is pretty.
Arenado isn't running this year at all.
Xander Bogaerts only has 3.
Wow, really?
I mean, and Goldschmidt, who's known to be a running first baseman, only has 3.
What? That's not true.
Yeah.
I'm looking at. Oh no, you're right.
That's not true at all. I think Xander Bogaerts has much more than 3 as well.
Xander has.
No, you're right. I was looking at the wrong tab, but
I was looking at
There's someone
hit
on the
by
Red Sox that
pitches.
doesn't.
Arenado actually has 1.
Ortiz wins.
My mistake.
All right, National League.
Oh shit. Rudy, who is yours?
Daniel Murphy. I mean,
Mine is Daniel
Yeah.
Murphy. It's got to
I
be
had
him.
Daniel Murphy.
Like,
This got boring.
as
Stop,
much as it
start
pains
fighting
me-
again.
as much as it pains me to give it to him because I think he's not a good person.
Okay.
He isn't.
wow.
He said some very, in my opinion, disgusting things publicly about his personal beliefs.
Okay.
But his season is undeniably the best offensive season in the NL so far.
Yeah. What is his final batting average, you think?
312.
I'm going to give him a little
Let's give
bit
him
more
323.
benefit and say 323.
I give him 320. I'm in the middle.
All right, it's fair.
It's on the middle of 3 times 3.
Somewhere in between
No,
there.
like not middle, but like middle. Like you had the higher one,
between
you had the lower
them.
one at the.
All right.
the
By the way, David Ortiz's career high in stolen bases is 4 in 2013. So he's got some work to do if he wants to shatter that record. All right, let's move on to Rookie of the Year.
National League, I think that one's kind of obvious. I have Corey Seager.
Sure, let's just mix it up and do the National League first. Why not, Furwood?
Yeah.
I also have Corey.
I wanted to go the easier one and then see if we could fight about the American League one.
I think a lot of these this maybe you can make a definitely genuine case for it.
And I'm going to.
If it
which is ironic considering you're a giant voter for Corey Seager.
Yeah, wow.
Explicit. I will not deny it. Corey Seager is one of my favorite players. Aledmus Diaz.
He's more than a player, too.
Deserving. I think he's deserving. He has a higher OPS. He has more RBI, better batting average. He's got like 4 less home runs, but the higher OPS is
he's
just
worse. I mean, he has worse defense though.
Well, Corey Seager's defense isn't like incredible either, though. Like I think the offensive. I think he's good. Okay, I'm saying Corey Seager's amazing in every way, but Aledmus Diaz is deserving of this award just based on you look at pretty much every offensive category except for home runs. He edges them out in every category.
Diaz?
I am.
You snaking your bay?
I'm snaking him. To avoid more awkward comments about my fandom of Corey Seager, let's talk about the AL Rookie of the Year.
Diaz so that you can get rid of suspicion of your fanhood on.
There's no suspicion. I think I've not denied any.
You're trying to bring down the hype.
I'm trying to I think it's just attracting too much attention. It's intimidating. I really want to talk about the American League Rookie of the Year so we can stop talking about my opinion of Corey Seager. Mine is Michael Fulmer of the Tigers.
Mine is Michael Fulmer as well.
Is it the Fulmer sweep? It's pretty good. He had 28 consecutive scoreless innings, right? That's pretty good. I think that.
I mean, he has a low 2 ERA. He's
2.11.
Tigers.
He's great. This is the best pitching prospect this year so far, and it's really sad because we've seen so many top 40. He's outside the top 40 this year in terms of top prospects for any position, and they just haven't been as good as Michael Fulmer. He's just stolen the show. So let's talk about some more pitching. Cy Young in the American League.
I would.
This is the hardest award in my opinion this year.
I was torn between Sale and Salazar, but oh my god,
Salazar.
I'm not agree.
Dirty's pitch would be Sale, but I think Cy Young I'd give the slight edge to Salazar.
I have to give it to Sale.
Okay,
Rudy. Michael Fulmer.
I really don't. Can I give it to an NL pitcher?
Can we just speculate that they'll be traded and still put up good enough numbers in the AL to win the
Rich Hill?
Rich Hill.
In all seriousness, oh gosh, I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it to Chris Sale just because he's been dominant for. I think he's a slightly different level of pitcher. It's very close, but I think he has an extra thing that you can't really put into words that makes him more Cy Young deserving.
Yeah, I mean, ERA is a tad bit high. The whip is still 1.04. He's still just about striking out a batter per inning, which is low for him, but still really good. And I don't really like the win-losses, but he's just dominating most games. He's 14 wins. There's something to be said for that. He's pitched a lot more efficiently than he has in the past too. I think he's the guy this year.
He also has innings in Salazar and less walks. So
yeah, so he's just more efficient overall. The NL Cy Young. Does anybody have any
any
Surprises?
random.
Poor Bumgarner, his best season.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mad Bum.
Poor Cueto too.
Why do
Poor
you?
Scherzer.
Why do you?
Mad Bum's gone deep.
Why
off
do you
of
feel
Kershaw
bad for
twice.
either of them? They're winning the World Series.
Fernandez, poor Strasburg.
Strasburg is unbelievable this year.
I mean, nice trade.
Dude. Thanks.
Poor area.
I'm crying now.
area. No, he won. I mean, I would say there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 NL pitchers who I would give the AL Cy Young to, or
better than Sale this year.
Maybe not clearly better, but you can make the case that they've been better.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I'm counting for myself too right now. Yeah, that seems about right. If you have DeGrom in that list, you could argue that.
Yeah, I put DeGrom in that list. Oh no, I didn't put DeGrom in that list. It could be 8 then.
Yeah, John. Scherzer. Did you put Scherzer?
Yeah, Mad Bum, Cueto, Scherzer, Fernandez, Strasburg, Syndergaard, Arrieta.
Fernandez.
Jose Fernandez.
Yeah, that's there you go. Let's move on because Kershaw. Obviously we've talked about him way too much. We talked about pretty much every pitcher except for him. I don't think any of us said his name in that order, but
I did.
Honestly,
I did.
The guy in our fantasy league who has him is in last place.
Really?
In the keepers league, yeah.
No, he's not in last. He's in.
He is.
No, he's not. I'm telling you, he's not. He's in third to last. But yeah. Let's give it up for our MVPs for the first half of the season.
For the AL, I mean, there were so many there were a couple different ways you could have gone with it, but I chose the easy way out and decided to fanboy, and honestly, Mike Trout deserves.
All right, get out of here.
If he was on a winning team, he's having one of the better years of his career. He's hitting for average of 322. He's hitting for power with 18 bombs. I'm sorry, he doesn't have 28 as your side bay of Mark Trumbo.
He's not. But, I deny that one. Okay.
No.
I don't think he's stealing any bases anymore.
He's stealing bases.
He does.
15 bags right now.
15 steals.
He has 15 bags right now. He's having one of the better years of his career on one of the worst teams he's been on.
Yeah, he's not winning it. Those are really good numbers. Those are not the numbers that
I'm not saying
can win it over a guy on a playoff team with really good numbers. Also,
this isn't Bryce Harper him to win.
He has the most WAR in the MLB according to ESPN.
Again, this isn't a situation where
I'm not choosing him. He's not my MVP either. But I'm just saying.
I'm not saying I'm predicting him. No, I'm saying who I would pick as the MVP. I'm not saying who the writers at the end of the season would
he would still get your vote. Okay.
Depending on how it would.
How it would.
Can I ask you a question, Luis? One of your inherent beliefs with the MVP award is that you need to be on a playoff contender to win it?
No,
is that
I'm not saying that. I didn't say it. I'm saying there are players that are putting up really, really good production numbers and offensive, like just really great players on playoff teams, and I would take them in a side-by-side comparison to Mike Trout.
I think players who have numbers that compare to Trout's and are on playoff teams, I think they have the obvious edge, as we've seen how voting has gone for awards over the last many years, especially like even Trout lost it 2 years in a row to Cabrera because he was on a shitty team. Like, if you obviously, I don't think he's going to win because of the state of his team, but I mean, his stats, they're one of the. I don't know how Mike Trout does it. Somehow he finds ways to get better every year.
I mean, okay, I just don't agree in this particular year, even. So, Rudy, who do you pick?
Jose Altuve.
Really? Okay. Because
Luis Bay.
Can we stop?
No.
Sorry, not you. You can go. You can go.
Altuve is about to probably get the Triple Crown in average stolen bases, and there was one other one that I'm blanking on that's making me look stupid. But, I mean, his team's a playoff contender.
So he's got the double crown?
Sorry?
The double crown?
There was one other one. I'll look for it, and I'll look for it after I'm done explaining. I think the AL MVP, honestly, is a wash. There's like, I think you made the case for Donaldson, Trout.
We make the case for Donaldson, Trout,
Even
Machado.
Encarnacion.
I had Machado, but then I fanboyed.
I mean, Encarnacion. I mean, so I don't really think there's a right choice in my opinion so far midway. But Mookie doesn't get. I mean, it's not Mookie. Sorry, Jose Altuve doesn't always get that MVP consideration love I think he deserves. So I'm giving him a little.
I appreciate that. I'm gonna give you mine, and he was none of the players that you just named in that giant spurt. I'm giving my MVP to a DH. I'm giving it to David Ortiz because he has been that valuable for the Red Sox without being a defensive player. That is my opinion.
I think that's absurd to give it over Mookie if you're going to give it to a Red Sox. I think that's truly... I think that's wrong.
Just his offensive capabilities, like as good as Mookie Betts is, David Ortiz is better. Betts is better in fantasy. I'll give you that. David Ortiz's production numbers this year far exceed Mookie Betts. David Ortiz is hitting...
That's true.
David Ortiz
defense is part of the game. And I'm looking at WAR right now. Mookie Betts is 8th. If David Ortiz is 20th. You can't say that David Ortiz is 100%.
He's 20th in WAR without playing in the field. That's how good he is.
Yeah, and it's
with the best.
This isn't the Hank Aaron Award. This is the most valuable player award.
Just choose your own opinion right there.
No, okay.
No. Okay, Uwe, this isn't the Hank Aaron Award that we already voted for. This is the most valuable player award.
I understand. I still think David Ortiz is the most valuable player to his team. I think if you had to pick between David Ortiz and Mookie Betts for this year, if you could only have one of them on your team, I think they would take David Ortiz. That's how good of a year he's having.
Every day of the week. Dude, I think you're really underestimating great defense a lot.
I think I am. But I think David Ortiz is just that good.
I don't believe that players who don't play in the field deserve MVP consideration.
I agree that pitchers just don't have enough game time to do that.
It's ridiculously easier to concentrate on hitting and stay healthy for hitting when you don't have to play any innings in the field.
Unless the hitter has absurd numbers.
It's not like he's winning the Triple Crown. I mean,
unless he has absurd numbers like all across the board. I know he has great numbers right now, but unless he has like absolutely absurd numbers, hitting wise,
it's pretty absurd.
I wouldn't put him in consideration.
They're only that's not true. They're absurd because he's 40 years old, and we can't believe he's not taking steroids. They're not absurd. They're not better than. They're not by far the best offensive.
Okay, I'm going to disregard the steroids part of that because that is zero to do with my opinion right now. Part of it is just the intangible factor too is that David Ortiz is very valuable to that Red Sox team. He's a leader of that team. Like that is an intangible.
So he deserves to win the MVP because he's Big Papi and
that's one way to put it. That's one way to put it. I don't know. This is just how I feel. And as I respect the stat war a lot. It's in the name of our freaking podcast, for crying out loud. But I think in this case, like just his presence on a day-to-day basis is as good as a player that plays defense.
Wow.
He helps his team win on a day-to-day basis more than anybody else on that team, I think. And
you think more than any other player in the AL as well?
Yeah, I would say so. Good defense. I admit. Good defense is very important. I'm not going to deny that, but I think in this case, David Ortiz's numbers just have to they have to be enough for him right now.
I'm sorry, but it's just not true that they're that good. they're incredible, and they're maybe the best season in a Hall of Fame career. And they really are astounding numbers, but they're not historic numbers. They're great numbers.
They have to be historic to win the MVP?
As a DH, they have to be better than...
Is what I'm saying.
So, yes.
And the fact of the matter is, does not play. He only plays half the game. And that has to be part of the consideration. And I think if you asked almost any baseball analysis, they would agree. Analyst.
Analyst.
There we go. That I don't think they would agree with you either, to be honest. And I don't know if that really matters, but I think it's at the very least, I think it's a really maybe exotic and unique opinion that I think a lot of people would disagree with you, and that's totally your right to believe that. But
I'm playing devil's advocate. I don't know. I'm doing it.
I think that's extreme to give the MVP. I mean, why doesn't Daniel Murphy deserve the NL MVP then? By that logic.
He is my NL MVP. We haven't gotten there yet. Yeah, we haven't gotten there yet. I'll wait for that yelling in a minute. So David Ortiz.
Award this to separate the guys who are just great offensively from the guys who are just great overall.
So
and you seem completely improve that concept.
I just want one
I just really disagree with that fundamental idea.
I just want one small frame of reference thing. So Farbeau Trout's having one of the better seasons of his career. You're saying his OPS is 991. Ortiz's is 1107. So
we never said he's not having an incredible year. I'm just saying
it's just a frame of reference.
I understand what you're saying, but I still wouldn't give him my MVP.
All right, let's move on to you guys yelling about me about Murphy.
Can I say my Jose Altuve stat?
Yeah.
He's going to probably win the Triple Crown in batting average, hits, and stolen bases, which I think should not be overlooked. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, and I seriously was considering him for the Hank Aaron too, but I don't know. David Ortiz is just that much better in my mind this year. So there you go. You guys can yell at me about Daniel Murphy being my National League MVP now, if you'd like.
Wait, let's go with me and Rudy's first before we yell at you.
Okay, fine.
I'll just say one more thing. In your defense, I will say this: the AL does not have a clear MVP, so I see the enticement in going with a more, unique take on the award, which is totally fair in a year where I think it's a total wash.
Thank you.
Who can win it.
And don't get me wrong, if Donaldson had the OPS Ortiz has, he's my MVP. 100%.
So OPS is the award that is the stat.
It is a big factor. It's like one of the best offensive stats in my opinion.
But okay.
Rudy's trying to cool down so he can get heated up about Murphy again.
So go on to MVP. Daniel Murphy is your winner.
Yes.
I had Chris Bryant.
I also had Chris Bryant.
That's also very fair because he's amazing, and he is probably going to end the season having played 5 positions. Wait,
and is that not
6.
valuable to your team?
No, 6 positions. Because I think he's played an inning at shortstop. Or not an inning, he's played a slight amount of shortstop. I'll look this up right now, but I want to say that he has.
Well, he's played third, left, first, center. Yeah.
I mean, are you actually looking at a source right now, or no?
No, I'm thinking.
Oh, I'm gonna look it up. But go ahead and explain more of Bryant's just overall awesomeness.
No. You're explaining Daniel fucking Murphy deserves to win the NL MVP.
Well, no, I want to give Chris Bryant is deserving of your praise. So give him your praise right now before you chew me out, okay?
He's the perfect. Other than Joe Madden has created him into a power hitting great hitter, Ben Zobrist. he's literally putting him in wherever they need help, and he's doing a pretty good job at whatever spot they put him in. He's played third, he's played left, he's played I believe center. I'm not sure. He's played first base. He's played as much as Joe.
He's
Madden
played one game at shortstop, by the way.
Played shortstop.
Six positions. It's great.
And he's hit 25 bombs. That's very good. Like, I mean, I don't know what else to say.
Okay. So, you guys ready to chew me out about Daniel Murphy now? I'm guessing that's a yes. All right. First of all, I know it's not the most important stat, but 348 batting average is insane. Okay? That is...
So it is. I mean,
Gordon.
Altuve has a higher batting average.
No, he doesn't.
What about D. Gordon?
Wait, did you just say Altuve has a higher batting average? I mean, it's high, but it's not higher.
Okay. Wait. I mean, if it's batting average, I mean, there's been guys in the past who've had insane batting averages, but like.
Oh, I'm sorry. Altuve's is 341. Excuse me, I'm out.
Yes, excuse you. You're excused.
Of a percentage.
Yes. Okay. I like OPS too. It's slight edge over Chris Bryant. I'm not saying that's like a big deciding factor. He's obviously on a good team for it. What?
You're ignoring defense completely, and Daniel Murphy's a poor defender, and Chris Bryant's an above-average defender, and that needs to matter in MVP.
He's an above-average... Okay. I mean, he's a versatile defender. I didn't realize he was above-average in his defensive abilities, but okay. That's fair. He's very valuable in his utility. That is something I'll give you. Just the strides Murphy's made in his power. Like, obviously Chris Bryant has better power, but Murphy has added that to his game where he's hitting 348 with 17 home runs. And that is not to be ignored for me. I don't know. Does
it matter to you at all that, where do you think and obviously WAR does not mean anything, but this is just a friend and reference point of my argument. Where do you think Bryant is on ESPN's overall WAR? Like, what position do you think
overall?
He is? Yeah.
In both
That's an MVP stat, so where do you think
3.
Where do you think he is?
3.
Okay, he's 5. Where do you think Daniel Murphy is?
He's if his defense is as bad as you say, it's probably like 14 or 15.
He's 41st.
Wow. That's rough. That's harsh.
You're giving the MVP to the 41st ranked guy in WAR. And ESPN WAR is a flawed statistic. I grant you, it's not the end-all be-all. But honestly, their rankings are pretty fair, I would say, overall. They overrate defense maybe a little bit, because there are guys who are known for the defense who I think are too high. But that's an insane difference. I mean, Ortiz was at least 20th. He doesn't even play defense. And they still give him negative defensive WAR for some reason. But
well,
it shows
that seems unfair, doesn't it?
I mean, Daniel Murphy's tied with Tyler Chatwood in WAR.
Wow, Chatwood. He's having a great year.
That's... like, you have to admit that you're
it's flawed. On the deeper level, it is flawed. On the surface level, if you were to say give the MVP to a guy hitting 348, you would not necessarily have a problem with that at the end of the season if he's hitting 348 and it's a mid-season award. After the season ended today, he's hitting 348 with a 985 OPS.
I don't really factor in batting average that much. I consider batting average balls in play just as important in my criteria.
Really?
I mean, batting average has a ton of luck to it. It's no different than ERA.
I mean, some of it's luck, but some of them have very consistently high BABIPs, and that's just part of their game. So I don't know. I mean, obviously it's slightly inflated, but right now that number is what is driving for me.
Not that Daniel Murphy has an incredibly inflated BABIP. Let me just say I'm not claiming that.
Yeah. Okay. Obviously these picks were not very thoroughly decided by me. They were more of the...
Let me ask you this. Is the reason you didn't choose Chris Bryant, is it because he spells his name really strangely?
Shit. I was
No,
hoping I wouldn't
admit-
have to. I was hoping I wouldn't get caught for
I'll admit to you,
being like.
RIS is probably the most.
That's also why Will Myers didn't win it, by the way.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty. And that's why
It's a pretty big factor.
there was someone else that I mentioned before. That's why Aledmys Diaz was not my NL Rookie of the Year. I will.
Aledmys. I think that's how you would spell Aledmys, though, if you needed to.
That's true. That's true. It's very phonetic. That's fair.
It's very phonetic. Oh man. Okay, obviously these are not like the most.
No doubt.
I'm not expecting either of these awards that I picked to be like either of my MVP awards to be defendable in any way. I mean, I wanted to try to defend them. I tried. I tried really hard. Did I not?
Yes.
Did I fight valiantly? I'm going to say that you guys out-argued me in every possible way, but I wanted the argument to be there.
No, I really appreciate you actually did.
That's
It made it
fair.
a lot more interesting than it.
I got your blood pumping. Isn't that what it's
No,
all about?
I appreciate it.
All right.
And also, in your defense as well, this is probably one of the hardest years, in my opinion, to pick an MVP in quite a long time.
Last year was kind of like
I mean, last year
last year
Bryce Harper was
there were
kinda
no
like
playoff
there.
players in the NL, which
Last
is
year,
pretty
though-
dumb.
Last year, though, like
It wasn't hard. It was just dumb.
But Bryce
These
Harper was
guys-
having an insane year, though.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
like,
It was just really weird.
Him and Goldschmidt were clearly on a different level.
Well,
I feel
Arenado
like
was.
Goldschmidt
Goldschmidt wasn't nominated.
Maybe that was the year before then.
Yeah.
But this year, I feel like there's like
Oh,
five.
there's a lot of perennial all-stars that are underperforming and not in that conversation. Or there's a few, not a lot. There's a lot of really good
And
players.
this is, of course, assuming that Kershaw doesn't win the NL MVP, which I think is genuinely possible.
It's
That's a
possible.
possibility.
I personally don't agree, but it's possible. Yeah. So that is what I have for there. We were going to play stat game now. Would you? I think it would be a better idea to do it separately if we were, right? Because this is
Can I ask you one last
insanely long.
question?
What?
I see one last question.
Yeah.
Just one thing. How can you give it to Ortiz rule out Kershaw? I can't.
Because
those two
Kershaw
together.
plays every 5 days. Ortiz affects every single game he plays in. He has an impact on every single game.
But the only reason the Dodgers are even in contention this year is because of Kershaw.
That's true, but even so, he can only, at his best, can only impact 1 in every 5 games. Ortiz has been affecting every single game. He hasn't been affecting it to the extent of a defensive player, let's say. But every single game, he has an impact on, and he is the reason they win a lot of games. Probably a lot more games than Kershaw.
I don't think he's won more games for the Red Sox than Kershaw's won for the Dodgers. I think that's not true.
Well, I mean, obviously it's not single-handed like a pitcher, but he does impact every single game. That's part of it. All right,
I just think it's a little bit controversial.
In terms of the aspect of the game, like overall, that is a little bit short-sighted, and obviously I'm gonna probably get like you guys are giving me a lot of shit for not caring about defense. I care about defense. This is more of just like an experimental argument type thing, but I do think there's something to be said for playing in every game and being able to impact every game. Kershaw doesn't pitch in every game. That's the fact.
But he can't pitch in every game.
It is. Yeah, I know he can't. Ortiz can play in every. That's why it's not their fault. I'm just saying that's the reality of it. That's why I don't value pitchers that way.
I just think, in my opinion, I just think it's a little bit hypocritical to say that defense shouldn't be as important as offense, but being, in my opinion, more valuable, yet pitching once every 5 days is less important than playing every day, even if you're arguably less valuable.
I'm not saying that. Pitching's important.
I think
They're all
it's
important.
to say that because he's playing every day, he's more worth to a guy who's literally single-handedly winning you games.
Yeah, I guess it's just a personal thing. I think being able to impact every single game is more valuable than, taking control of, let's say Kershaw in a really good season would probably have like 22 games that he just completely wins for his team. Right? In 30 starts, 30 to 33 starts.
Yeah.
He already has 14 quality starts this year, so I'd say that might be even.
That's really good. So even then, I think Ortiz is going to play in this year probably like 130 to 140 games. Possibly more, actually. I don't know what he's on pace for. But
does that mean he would have won
some of them, yes. Some of them, yes. There's no way to... I guess wins above replacement's the only way to measure that tangibly, which takes into account defense, so that kind of ruins everything. But, that's just my argument. That's my argument, and I'm sticking with it, and I think we need to end the podcast, because this has been freaking long. And,
I'm sorry.
Why are you sorry? There's no apologies. We had a good time. Hopefully, this is not exhausting for listeners, but thank you all for joining us.
On the podcast, I just wanted to say that.
Ben Hansen was here. We'd like to, first of all, thank you to Ben for being here, at least for part of it.
Once upon a time, Ben Hansen was a part of this podcast.
Ben probably lasted longer than most of our listeners, to be fair. So they're not missing anything. So thanks again. You can follow us on Twitter. We do a lot of stuff there at WPB_podcast. Check out our website. The link for that's in the link. The link for that is below in the description. And I have recently released my mid-season top 100 fantasy rankings. So if you are into that, go ahead and check that out too on our website. Email us at warandpeacebaseball@gmail.com if you have any other feedback that you want to give us. Leave comments, do all that kind of stuff. We appreciate any feedback you have for us. So that is all for now. That was a long one. All right. Thank you again. As always, Farbode.